Quilts are flying, colors splash. Pins and patches, stories grow. Stitching secrets we all know. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses line so neat. Friendship's quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses line so neat. Friendship's quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Our life.
Stitch by stitch they weave the tale. A patchwork life where laughs prevail. Patterns clash, but who can tell? Quilted chaos suits us well. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around.
Hello, everybody, and happy Easter. I hope you've all been munching on the bunny, preferably chocolate. And let's see, just check everything here to make sure everything is connecting in properly. There's always a time delay. Let's see. So, just checking our sound. Yep, we have sound. Okay. That's a good thing. Okay, so let's see. Everybody's coming in. Now I'm surprised because we're an hour earlier than we usually are because we're off to my sister's for Easter dinner. More about that later. And also, it's Easter. So maybe people are getting together with their family or friends or whatever and doing that kind of thing because that is the time of year for it, I guess. But anyway, so who is here? Well, Barb is here. She's taking the title I called this one and going with the song. And yes, I was thinking of that song, Barb. Dana's here. Hi, Dana. And Mona is here. Dubrovka and Al are here. Andy's here. Hi, Andy. And Charlotte is here as well. Sue is here. And Mary from Virginia. And John from Art East is here as well. And he says, honestly, the moon doesn't sound so bad right now. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. Is that keeping in with the theme of your latest sew along? We'll talk about that too in a moment. I started mine. Oh, John. Oh, John. Oh, John. No.
Yeah, I have to put up with it.
What?
You complaining?
I wasn't complaining. I was making helpful suggestions in my own head. Karen's here. Hi, Karen. And Margaret here. Now, Margaret McDonald from Australia. Have you been here before, Margaret? Sorry if I don't really remember someone.
I thought she was here before.
Was she here before? I mean, you'll have to excuse me. My memory sucks about things. But anyways, one way or the other, you're welcome to be here. So we're glad you're here. Melissa is here. And Susan is here as well. Gloria is here. Josie is here. And my Nightbot is here. That one bounced up. Did I say hello to Judy? I don't think I did. Judy is here. And Gloria. And Adam's here. Hi, Adam. And Kathy is here as well. And Adam says, just finishing my Peter. How's yours going, Stephen? We're going to talk. Okay, stay tuned. Jeannie is here as well. There's that strange little symbol popping up again.
Yeah, well, that's a what do you call it? Translation symbol, right?
Yeah, I know.
Could be they've got something turned on there.
I don't know.
So.
Anyways, we're not worried about it. Doesn't really bother us. Joan is here. We are eating later, so I'm here with you. Okay, Joan. And Pauline Dunn is here from New Zealand. Okay, we're getting everybody on the other side of the world, which is great.
7 a.m. Monday.
Yeah, that's right. 7 a.m. Monday for you guys. Yeah. Sue says, Tart East. Hi, John. Peter and I have been spending the weekend together. I spent the morning with Peter. Baranka says, hi, everyone. Hope you all are having a nice Easter. Okay, so I'm sure maybe a few other people will join us if they're able to. Some people won't remember that we did do it an hour earlier, and others are probably busy killing the bunny. Yeah, got to eat that bunny. Okay, so what have we been working on? Well, I'll start with me because Walter probably hasn't been working on anything. So let's take a look. This is the table runner that I've been working on. It's an In the Hoop project. You have seen parts of this before. This is not done yet, but I do have, since I took this picture, I did finish one more center panel. And I think that's all I'm going to have is 3 center panels and 2 end pieces. I measured my dining room table, my kitchen table, so this will fit on either one of those tables if I just do it at that length. So next stage, maybe next week, I'll get the pieces together and get it back, and then I get to bind it. And now I have the Quilter's Bible, or the Quilt Binding Bible that I talked about earlier this week on my on the Idiot Quilter. And it has a special section about dealing with curves. I mean, I pretty much know how to do these kind of curves. But I'm going to see what they have to say. Maybe I'll learn something new in that. If you haven't seen The Idiot Quilter from last week, you should go and take a look at it because I do review this particular book, and it is excellent. Everything you ever want to know about binding and then some. And it's available on Amazon. Not an affiliate. Okay, so there's that. And the Alaska quilt, yes, I'm still working on it. I finished the next set of blocks, block set 4. And it's coming along. I'm getting a little bit more familiar with the ruler and getting things fairly accurate. If you look at it pretty close, you will notice that there's some tippy tips of some points. Don't be pointing it out, Walter, that are missing, and I can live with that. Normally I can't, but I am going to live with that for now because I figure this whole quilt's going to be so much is happening in this quilt when it's all the pieces are put together that only the eagle eyes or Walter will notice where those little tippy touches
I don't
are
usually
missing.
look for points. I just look for misplaced block.
Yeah. Okay, well there could be some of those, but not yet. We haven't got to that part. So yeah, it's coming along. It's going to be a while, but I am recording, as I've told you, my journey through this little quilt of hell. And speaking of quilts of hell, not really, okay? I've started Peter Pan here, John Sew Along, and yeah, these are tiny little pieces. I watched John's video on how to do the first part of this, and I highly recommend it if you're doing this. Don't skip the video. John, even if you're pretty sure you know what you're doing, check out the video because John has got some great tips. First of all, he uses the Acorn products. He uses the Acorn precision piecing glue. Now, I have that glue, and I have never ever really used it. Well, it is good. It really helps, especially when you're working with little pieces. So I've been using that. I have been pressing all my seams open, and I've been using the precision pressing solution with those. Now, I do use that on a regular basis, but I don't usually do my seams open. I do them to one side, but there are so many seams in all these pieces. I thought, John does it. I'm not, he knows what he's doing. I'm going to go with what John said to do because it'll cut down the bulk, especially when it gets onto, when this thing gets done and it gets quilted. So there's many more pieces to go in this first section. This is just Peter. I mean, I just have his head. I don't have the very top of his head, and I don't have his body, his arms, and all that. That's to come. Now, I did have a little bit of a problem because I'm geometrically challenged, as everybody knows. I flipped the little pieces that attach next to the ears and the cheek parts in there, and I got those turned around, and I had to pull them out. Luckily, when you do open seams, it's not as hard to rip things apart. I am using John's recommendation. I've got my stitch length set at 1.80, but then that's not unusual for me because my machine defaults to that when I'm quilting. So that's what I always use, which though can be a bit of a pain. And John mentioned it in his videos if you need to rip anything out because there's smaller stitches. But with the open seams, I find it's not that difficult. So anyways, I'm moving along with it. I am enjoying it when you put it together. I don't enjoy the cutting. I'll be right honest about that, but I think there's most of us are like that because there's so much to do. But you just do it one section at a time. Don't try to cut it all before you get to it or you'll never get to the sewing part. And it's kind of like a little puzzle. As things start to emerge and you see what's happening here. So I am enjoying that part of it, but I am glad that it's spread out over many months because, yeah, I can't sit down and do, I think this took me a couple of hours to do this part. You wouldn't think that, but it did. Maybe other people are faster than I am, but I was trying to be very, very precise, very careful with it all. And I love that in John's pattern, he tells you what the measurements are for each of the little sections, so you can test to make sure you're getting things the right way. I like that in a pattern. I think that's really helpful because you can see whether you're going, because one little mistake or one when you're off even by a 1/16 of an inch, well, that multiplies throughout, and then your quilt will be all over the place. So I definitely appreciate having those measurements there for all of that. So anyways, we're working on it. We're going with it. And so let's just, before we move on to what Walter's working on and talking about his free motion quilting, if I get this thing out of the way so we can see who else has joined us so far and any comments. Down here. Did I say hi to Jeannie?
I can't remember.
Well,
I
I'm
think
saying
you
hi
did.
to Jeannie again. Yeah. I said that. I said that. Yeah, I did. Did that. Kathy says that's beautiful, Stephen. Which one? Table runner or Peter? Layla Young says, glad to make my first live with Stephen and Walter. Hello from Virginia. Well, we're glad that you were able to come. Welcome. Hope you come to many of them, all of them, every week. And Dubrovka says, beautiful embroidered table runner. Thank you, Dubrovka. Charlotte says, I ordered the Binding Bible. You won't be disappointed, Charlotte. I think it's a really great book. Molly's here. Hi, Molly. Peter Pick.
Yeah, it was a Peter pick.
What's a Peter Pick?
The one that you just showed, a picture.
Yeah.
Peter picture. Yeah, what about it?
What about it?
I don't know. Never mind.
I don't know. I'm confused. Okay. It's my usual way of being. Melissa says the videos are very helpful. Yes, they are. John says, I'm so proud, Stephen. Thank you, John. Melissa says, looks really good. It's fun to see it come together. Yeah, it is. And John says, that's by design. Oh, I would expect a lot of things are by design. I don't know how you think of everything for these. You have thought of everything. You have made it. This isn't just making a quilt. This is an experience, this whole thing. It's an adventure. And I think that's something you don't often get in sew-alongs with other designers. This is definitely an adventure. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, I know. It'll all come together. I'm not having that many problems with it. I mean, the little pieces, I'm not used to dealing with little tiny pieces, and it's very easy for me to, even though I put them all on a little design board and I lay them all out just like John shows in his videos, and I do that with my regular quilting anyways too. But for some reason, when I get those little pieces off the design board, which is right next to my sewing machine, I get them flipped. And I don't know how that happens. It's a mystery. Let's see. Matthew is here. Hi, Matthew. And Kathy says both, but that was when you showed the table runner. Oh, okay, Kathy. So what's Walter been up to? What about your shirt, Walter?
Oh, I still have to do that. I finally cut out the collar, but I haven't put it on there yet. Oh.
No, I'm not showing that yet. So yeah, well, we're going next weekend. Next Saturday, we've got an in-person sew day with Walter's group at the club, kind of a thing. I have to decide whether I'm going to work on the Art East or I'm going to work on the Alaskan. Depends on how the week goes with all of that. But Walter's been busy. He has filled up a bed sheet of designs, and I just put on the machine for him today another set of bed sheets that he's practicing on. But you can see his progression. Yeah, this is the whole thing. So up here at the top, ignore the swirls. That was me having the computer on it do that when I first put this down for him. But you can see here up at the top, you go from left to right. What are these?
Different feathers.
Oh, those are feathers. They look like a fern.
Yeah, well, they were supposed to be a curly feather, but they didn't. My curls weren't going.
No. But so down here, you got a little bit more.
Yeah, well, that's just sort of standard ones. That's before I started doing bump back ones.
Ooh, bump back ones. But these are looking like
Yeah.
pretty good here. Then you have this like ribbon candy thing
Yeah.
happening here, sort of a bordered treatment. And then your circles here
Yeah.
are getting rounder.
Yeah.
And now down here, feathers. Look at the progression of Walter's feathers as we go on.
Started off with standard feathers, and then I started reading about bump back feathers, and I couldn't get them to work properly. But then towards the end, I was getting them to work properly.
Well, I'm thinking down here in the very bottom row, I think this bunch right in here are pretty good.
Better, yeah.
And yeah, these ones are getting better. And this coming back down the line here, you're getting a little better.
And that jumbo one was I was getting too advanced for myself, and I thought, well, I better go back and do feathers, and then try and do something more complicated.
But you know, like you're seeing this on a dark background without any quilting, like no blocks, anything like that, or colors. I mean, this is pretty passable, I would think, on a quilt. So what's your plan now?
I've got another one another bed sheet on there. I want to try and do some ruler stuff, and try and do like boxes. Put stuff in like a box or a triangle, so that if I'm working with a regular quilt that has boxes and triangles in it, that I would do some custom stuff in those parts and try and get the hang of that. A lot of it is trying to get the machine to go the way you want it to go, and getting a smooth movement.
Yeah, well, don't look to me for advice on it because I can't do them. So, so let's see. There's some people I think came in while we were talking. Kathy, Adam, hi Melissa, hi Pauline. Sherry Cook is here, and Pauline is here. And Adam says, Walter, your FMQ is so good. Way to go. I remember watching your video, though, on the quilt you were doing that Darren made and everything the other day. And oh my God, that quilt is fantastic. I mean, Darren's piecing is really good, and your quilting on it just enhances it even more. So you guys have got a team going there. That's what I'm hoping someday for us too. And we will get there. Charlotte says, wonderful progress, Walter. Judy says, Walter, I think those look great. And Judy Hebert is here. Hi, Judy. Everybody says you're doing great work. Go right to his head. Between Walter and Adam, I'm starting to get the long arm itch. Oh, John, do you not have a long arm? I just kind of assumed you probably did. The Robert says, Walter, did you like art drawing in school?
No. I never did well at it. I was the only drawing I ever did that I really liked was in kindergarten.
Oh, yeah?
I did this moonscape in kindergarten, and I even put shadows in it and stuff like that. And the teacher was surprised it was me that did that. But after that, I lost it when I got older.
Yeah. I always loved art, but I wasn't that great at it. But I had a grade 8 teacher, and I think I've told the story, who would look at the kid on the left of me and go, that's wonderful. I love the perspective, the color, use of color. Look at the kid on the right of me. I love how you've done that shadow effect and that. Then he'd look at mine and go, and no word of a doubt here, I'm not exaggerating. He'd go, yuck. Well, that really blew the air out of my thing. Especially, I like perspective drawing. You know, you do the lines to the vanishing point, they call it, and then you make the building cityscapes and stuff. I used to think I could do that really well. Apparently not by him. So he really killed my whole idea of actually taking art in high school, because I was going to take art in high school because I liked art. But no, didn't do it. Never did it again. No. So
yeah, I think when I got older, they started telling me things what I should be doing, and I couldn't do it. So
oh yeah, because you don't like to be told. Yeah, I could see that.
No, I meant like giving, like when I had a little free mind when I was at kindergarten.
Oh,
I was more inventive, and then as things went along, it wasn't as good.
I got in trouble in kindergarten. I remember this too. You know, really, Surprising I became a teacher because the number of teachers I had that were hypercritical. In kindergarten, I remember a teacher getting upset with me because I was having trouble distinguishing between the color blue and the color purple. I'd get them mixed up. I was 5, for God's sakes. I know now what the difference is.
You do?
I do. Go away. I don't have one. Laugh out loud yet. Yeah, yet. Opens up a whole new world, John. I can tell you that. Get the computer. And Dubrovka says, Walter, your kindergarten artistic talents are coming out in your old age.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
so's his diapers.
I guess so.
What?
I'm just actually, when I started getting better at the feathers, I started really getting into it.
Yeah, I know. So now I have hooked it up with the platform for ruler quilting because he wants to try ruler quilting, and I dug up all my rulers that I have a bunch of them that I never really used. When I first started that on the domestic machine and trying, and I didn't go very far with it. So now we'll see what he can do with rulers.
Yeah.
We're building our way up.
I have a couple of books that discuss rulers and stuff too, so I'm going to follow some of them. That's what I've been doing with feathers too, is sort of following what are in the books, and I was sort of trying to build up some muscle memory with I have tracing paper, and I was doing stuff on tracing paper, like by copying stuff that was in the books and following it and stuff like that, just to get the hang of how to move the machine.
Yeah, well, that's what they always say. It's
Yeah.
muscle memory to get the motion down.
Yeah.
Melissa says kindergarten was traumatic. Yes.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. Yeah. And Mary says, hi Mary, I think school discourages non-artists. I think you're right, Mary. It can be art teachers, not to slam them, but in my experience being a teacher and dealing with, working along with art teachers, that I have found art teachers can be very spirit killing.
Well, actually, there are some teachers in different areas that can be can assume that just because you're not doing things correctly or doing things in a good way or whatever, that maybe you're not well suited for that talent. And as you get older, things your perspective may change. I was taking an electronics class once, and none of my wires were straight. Everybody's wires was nice and straight. Mine were all crooked. Right? I couldn't get out of that class fast enough. And the teacher at the time said to me, "Oh, well, I don't think you're well suited for that." Well, maybe I wasn't well suited for building a radio, but I'm pretty up to date on what electronics are.
That's the other thing. Now, I don't know if art teachers now, I would like to think they do, but art. You say the word art, it can mean anything from fine art to paper mache puppets to, whatever, furniture making or something like that. And I have met some art teachers in the past who are very focused on it's fine art, it's painting. Where I've met other ones that are into, all kinds of things. In fact, the art teacher at my last school that I worked at asked me to come in and work with the kids a couple of times because they wanted to make journals. And she knew that I was into bookbinding at the time. So yeah, I taught them how to make a simple journal with signatures in it and how to sew them in and everything like that. So she recognized that there was different forms of art. It's just not all fine art. Yet when I was working as a docet at the local art gallery, no, if it wasn't fine art or what they thought was fine art or that kind of thing, like they didn't consider quilting or fabric unless the fabric was used in an interesting way, like slapped on a board and stiffened and paint splattered on it. That was art. But a quilt was not art. That was sewing. So, it depends. But they were a little snotty there.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a degree in fine art. Really? Couldn't do anything else, eh?
Well, the other thing
Can you
is,
make a basket?
Sometimes in school, like when I was in school, I was a nervous little kid, and especially even in high school. And when I was taking shops and things like that, it wasn't really my thing either. But then I wasn't very confident at doing things, so my stuff didn't work out that well. And teachers would say, "Well, you're not really well suited for this." and but I mean, since I've become an adult, I do a lot of handy type work and stuff like that. That I have more confidence now than I did when I was in school.
Well, I was trained when I was taking teachers college that you should never ever be negative with a kid on something they're doing. I mean, it may not be suitable for them, but there are ways to get that across or to encourage them. Yeah, don't discourage them. That's what this art teacher in grade 8 did to me. Don't take art in high school. You're lousy at it. Don't waste the teacher's time. Well, he's probably dead by now, I hope. But, that kind of thing. I never ever said to a kid, and I mean, okay, so I taught English and I taught writing skills.
Well, did you say to any, you're too stupid to go to university?
No, but I thought it. But no, I wasn't going to discourage them if this...
Well, actually, that in some ways, the kids that I went to high school with, the ones that were real brains in school, none of them made it.
No, that's
they either
true.
dropped out of university, or they never dropped out of university, or they ended up not doing very well in when they went to go to work. And
well, the ones that were the real brainiacs didn't have any social skills either.
No, they didn't.
It seems that God gave them brains but didn't give them manners, I don't know, or etiquette or something like that. Give me a good solid B student and I'll show you kids who will. And I was pretty much that too. I had A's as well, but I mean, I worked hard for every mark I got. I worked my ass off because I was not
actually
naturally talented.
I was a lazy B student because
lazy B.
Because I didn't do the work, but I still got a B.
Oh, so you cheated?
No, I still did.
You didn't cheat well. You should have got up somebody.
I did cheat at one math exam.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't. There was an angle thing, and I couldn't remember exactly how to get the angle right. So I faked it on the exam, right, and I got the mark for it anyway. Okay. And the thing was, I was upset because I figured I wasn't going to get it, and then I told somebody that that's what I did in the exam, and he was snitched on me to the teacher.
Oh,
well, the teacher's response was, so what?
Yeah, my response would have been, well, they were clever enough to get it.
Yeah, I know.
Why didn't you think about that?
At least I tried.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mary says, I think school discourages non-artists. Yeah, I think it does.
Well, probably the teacher didn't want to have to go back and remark it.
Well, that was, yeah. That's more real than you think. Yeah. Pauline says, I've been trying to talk my husband into a long arm, but it would mean I would be taking over his garage. Well, so tell him that there's a sacrifice that he has to do for your ability to, because you'll be happy. And you know what they say? Happy wife, happy life, right? Zaza is here. Hi, Zaza. And Bomban is here as well. Or Bonbon. Let's see. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Adam says, doing the trip around the world quilt and FMQ, a different design in each 4-inch block will really help me build confidence. Having that enclosed area makes it a lot easier than more open space, the harder. Yeah. Well, that's a lot, like 4-inch blocks in a trip around the world quilt. Yeah, that's a lot of space, little individual ones, but I get the point.
Yeah, there was one, a book or something that I saw that wasn't really a trip around the world, but it was a quilt that was designed for
practicing your
quilting.
Yeah. Well, the one behind you. There's lots of places on that one that I put together. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Is that I don't know if I really want to go to a regimented thing that says you have to do this in this block and you have to do this in this block. I just want to do my own thing and do patterns that I want.
Customization is doing your own thing. It's not, you don't have to, like, you can do whatever you want. Sweet Granny's here. Hi, Sweet Granny.
Wow, you were early. today. Yeah, we said we were going to be on early today.
Obviously, we weren't here last week and heard that announcement. Obviously, we did not pay attention to any of the videos I put up in this past week. Obviously, you didn't see the little short I did earlier today, reminding everybody of this. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, we are on early because we're going to Steve Sisters for Easter dinner.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Barb says, I had an art teacher in junior high school who hated orange and navy blue. She would rip up your picture if you use those colors. At the time, Alberta's license plate colors were orange and blue. Yeah, and it's my last school that I retired from. That's our school colors were orange and blue too. Actually, I was never fond of that colors combination myself either. I thought we could have had a better color combination. But, you know, the coaches in the school, when we were opening the new school and figuring out all this stuff before it opened, what we were going to have, they pushed orange and blue because there's something down in the States. There's some sports team in the States. I don't know what it was. You know, I don't follow it. In Florida or something, and their colors were orange and blue. And I think our mascot on ours was, what were we? We weren't tigers, lions. There was something we were.
Yeah, wasn't it
cougars?
Cougar? No, it wasn't a cougar. It was a cat or something. It wasn't panther. It was
Panthers. No, I don't think we were. Were we Panthers?
No,
that was my other school. We were.
Yeah,
Panthers.
you were something else.
I forget what it was, but whatever. And Zaza says, my son's art teacher was something else. His personal interpretation of a particular painting was wrong. Oh, one of those. Yeah. You know, it's like when I taught literature. When I went to high school, you were always looking for, you know, what's the meaning of this, the theme, and you had to figure out what the teacher thought it was. Well, that's not the way I taught books. I said there is no right or wrong answer here. It's what you think it means to you, and as long as you can justify it with evidence from the book itself, then you're just as right as anybody else's interpretation. Adam says, knowing you only have a small area to fill in is less daunting. Open background is more nerve-wracking. Do you find that?
I don't know. I haven't done anything in open backing yet. So yeah, I would imagine you're right. Well, if you've got a large piece of white or black or whatever that's blank, filling that in is probably more.
Well, that's what you've been doing.
Yeah, I know that, but I haven't really had a boundary. You know, like I've got a box where you want it to look nice in the whole box.
No, John says, I was a tiger, then I was a lion, then back to the tiger in uni. Okay. Pauline says, problem I have, Adam, is his addiction is motorbikes for racing. He has 3 of them, so my car doesn't get to go into the garage all the time, especially when he decides to pull them apart. Yeah, you might have a problem there, Pauline. Have you thought of an extension to your house?
Have you thought of a big shed?
Yeah, she shed. So you guys, sorry, Stephen. Ben has been in and out of hospitals, not up to par. We'll catch up on your visits coming week. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your husband, sweet granny, but I was just joking. Yeah. Okay. So don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
Faith is here. Hi, Faith.
Hi, Faith.
So, anyways, that's what Walter's been up to. We've been up to. So, coming events, Sewing with Stephen on Wednesdays as per usual. Links in the show notes below. And guess what? Tomorrow on Monday Morning Coffee, which I haven't decided yet whether that will get up before I have a dentist appointment tomorrow at 9 o'clock, so I have to leave here at about 8:15 to get the dentist. My favorite place to be, at the dentist, so she can get in there with her little picks and things and scrape my teeth. You know, it's a cleaning and then a little checkup. Oh, look, you have teeth. Thank you. That'll be $100. Oh, nice of it. Anyways,
100, is that all?
Well, no, it's probably more than that. Yeah, whatever. I mean, they're in my mouth for less than 3 minutes when they do a checkup, if even that. They're in there for like 3 days when they're doing the cleaning. Like, I swear they're going for gold. I am so particular about, I mean, I brush 3 to 4 times a day after every meal. I have a water pick. I use that 3 to 4 times a day after every meal. I floss at least 3 to 4 times a day after every meal. There isn't much more you can do in my mouth. In there. Go away. You're a filthy boy. And yet they're going for treasure, going for gold in there. And I just hate it. But anyways, I guess I keep telling myself, I'm almost 70 and I still have all my own teeth. Let's see if we can keep them for a few more years with that. Okay. Retreat registration opened yesterday at 9 a.m. Right now we're sitting at just under 60 people, which is pretty darn good. But I'm allowing for 95. So there's still basically 35 spots left. So if you've been sitting on the fence and you're still not sure, well, there are places available for you. However, I have no idea for how long, because I always expected big influx on the first day when I open it, and the next day it kind of comes in a little bit more slowly, and then as the next few days go by, it'll come in dribs and drabs, and then suddenly, about 3 to 4 days before the retreat, I'll get a new influx, because those are the people who've been sitting waiting to see if something better would come up in their life than me. And obviously it didn't. So they said, well, I guess I'll do this then. Kind of a thing. So it's coming along with all of that. So just in case you wanted to know, for those of you that are still sitting on the fence. So on Monday morning coffee with me, we did a live. I'm going to do a live at the last Monday of every month. I don't know. Do you think those of you that show up on those Monday morning lives, if they're too long? We went quite a long, well, I went quite a long time. I mean, that was a new record. It was almost 2 hours. And I try to limit myself to, well, I try to limit to under an hour on each of my usual ones. This one, we usually limit it to about 90 minutes and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I just get going on the live and I can't stop. So are you doing an imaginary horn?
Blabbermouth.
Beep, beep, beep.
Blabbermouth.
Asshole. So.
We should call it a motormouth quilter instead of idiot quilter.
You've met my sister.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah, you can't get a word in edgewise with her.
Yeah, no. But anyways, so yeah. On the Idiot Quilter, we did a retreat update and registration and all that stuff. On So Chatty this week, we did, using the Accuquilt to make a complex block, we made the carpenter's wheel with a die that I have had for about 3 years and never took out of the package. So we finally did that, and that was kind of fun to do. So this coming week, I'm going to take a step back, though, because I thought, well, geez, I kind of started with a really complex block, and I should have started with something more simple. But we're going to look at using the cube system. So the first video is I have done one of the patterns that came with the 8-inch cube block. And the cube block, if you aren't familiar with Accuquilt, is basically a set of, I think there's 7 dies in the set. And they cut different sizes and different things, but they'll all work together. And there's actually 72 different blocks you can make out of the set. If you're thinking about getting an Accuquilt, I highly recommend that you don't get sucked into buying the one-offs. The one-offs are, there's all kinds of cute applique, unless you're really into applique and you love applique. But beware, you may never use that die again. Whereas the cubes, you get 72 different blocks, and there's some add-on sets for each of the cubes too that'll double that. So you've got a wide variety. And if you're somebody who likes to do scrap quilts, it works very well for that too. So anyways, we're exploring that on next Friday a little bit further on. I am playing with the idea that over time, I will create a whole quilt. That was all done with nothing but Accuquilt. Kind of thing. We'll see how that goes. And what are people saying here? Adam says, oh, he sounds like my dad. Pauline has 2 bikes and 4 cars. Oh, okay. Yeah, John says there are so many jokes here. We're aware. Oh yeah. This could go downhill very quickly. And you're saying, what, it hasn't already? It could go further. Adam says, he says, maybe they are swapping out all those gold fillings and potting them, Stephen. Yeah, I don't have any gold fillings at all. Just lead that's killing me. No, Laurel's here. Hello, Laurel. They're all laughing at what you had to say, Walter. You're so funny to look at. Dubrovnik says, Monday Live was very good. Not too long. We always have a lot of questions for you, and you've always answered them all. Yeah, and actually, for the live ones especially, I like the interaction. And that's why it went a little longer, too, because, you know, people are asking things or making comments, and away we go. Because the whole idea of Monday morning coffee with Stephen is that format, kind of a chat format. And although only one out of the month is actually live, I try to make it work like, I try to imagine in my mind all of you are sitting in front of me and we're sitting around on the couch, as Kate would say on The Last Homely House, the lime green couch. Well, mine isn't lime green with that, but we're sitting around, we're having coffee, fancy coffees, and talking. And that's what I hope comes across. That's the persona I am trying to create there, or atmosphere. Oh, Adam says, did you previously have gold fillings? Is the question. Nope, I never had. Nope.
Nope, neither do I have.
Nope. Yeah, it's too poor for gold.
Yeah.
Faith says, don't forget, Stephen, you did have a problem with the carpenter's wheel. Oh, yeah. Of course I had a problem with it. And it's there on the video for you all to see. I don't want people to think that the Accuquilt system is a be-all, end-all solution to all of your problems. It's not. It's not. Accuquilt people, when they do demos, or their ambassadors do demos, they would make you think that it is that easy. It is not. And you know me, I'm going to show you. I don't sugarcoat it, and if I make a mistake, I show you what the mistake is, why I made the mistake, how I corrected the mistake, because I think that's important that people know. That's why I started Idiot Quilter. Why it's called Idiot Quilter. I was sick of watching videos when I first got into quilting where everything was perfect. The magic of television. Bang.
Yeah, they don't seem to show you, like,
No.
even on the free motion quilting, they don't show you the.
Oh no, they
only show you the perfect stuff that they do.
They don't show you the hours they practice too to get there. Charlotte says, I have very few one-off dies, but I have both the 8 and 12-inch cubes. I'm enjoying your cube fillets. Okay, great, Charlotte. And yeah, I think it's a good investment in the cubes. I think you get more bang for your buck with those. It's not to say that the applique ones aren't good too, because if you have a specific purpose and you want that, then it's probably worth your investment. But if you're just getting into this, then, you know, be strategic in what dies you might buy at the beginning. You know, the strip ones are great to have because we all do bindings, we all do borders, we all do sashing. So those are a good investment, I think. Because you don't get wobbly things like, I mean, I use my Stripology ruler for a lot of strip cutting. But if you're not careful, because it's a plastic thing, it's a little bit weak. If you put too much pressure just to one side, then you will get a wow in your strip. And no one wants a wow in your strip. The only wow you want to hear is the one when people look at it and go, wow, not, oh, wow. That kind of thing. Zaza says, I hate when people hide their mistakes. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. What, you think people are going to think less of you because you made a mistake? Because we all make mistakes. Like I said, Peter, when I was doing Peter today, I made some mistakes. I corrected them. I did say a few little swear words under my breath. They weren't directed at John. It wasn't John's fault. It was my fault.
Since when do you say swear words under your breath?
Oh, screw off.
I usually hear them upstairs.
That's when Lucy and I are having an argument. Yeah. But whatever. Okay, so Speaking of mistakes, well, I don't know.
That's not a mistake.
Oh, here's what else Walter's been up to. Okay, you know we're going to Japan in May, right? And I'm a little concerned about the food and all that kind of thing. So we have gone out, as you know. We went to one place and we had some ramen with pork and some other things in it. And then we went to one of those kind of grocery stores that has international foods and stuff. And Walter had done some research and he got, what was it?
Japanese curry cubes.
And so we had Japanese curry. And this is what it looked like. And that brown thing on the side, that is
A pork cutlet.
done in,
Fried.
coated in
Yeah, panko.
panko, which are Japanese breadcrumbs, actually. I didn't know that they were Japanese. I mean, I knew what panko was, but I didn't realize they were Japanese. And we had rice. We didn't have the right rice because why? You want it sticky.
I had thought of getting Japanese. I forgot as an afterthought about getting Japanese rice, but that was what, Good Friday, and nothing was open. So
But anyway, so we had this.
should get some chopsticks too.
Well, but how do you eat the curry with chopsticks?
Well, you put it on the rice and lift the rice with chopsticks.
But the rice wasn't sticky enough.
No, that not basmati. I had basmati
So
rice.
if we'd had stickier rice, that would have been more.
Yeah, it would have worked better.
Yeah. We do have chopsticks, you know.
Oh, we do? I didn't know that.
There's some or maybe I threw them out. I had them for a while. Have to look for those and see. Anyways, yeah. Okay.
He didn't like it. I liked it.
I didn't hate it. It was okay. I love curries, but this just has a little different. Actually, there was something. It seemed like it was missing something, but of course, it's not an Indian curry, so maybe that's what it was missing in Indian.
That box. Remember, I had a choice between extra hot or mild. There wasn't like a medium hot. So
this
now
was
mine. I threw some hot pepper on.
Yeah,
it, so.
well, it was a little better when I put in a little bit of the hot pepper as well, the cayenne. But it was okay. It's not really the flavors I'm finding so far. It's a texture thing. This curry was kind of slimy.
Thick.
Okay.
This was like a gravy.
Well, no, it wasn't like a gravy. It was like, I don't know. I didn't hate it. I guess it's just maybe if I have more of it. Of course, mind you,
this may not be authentic. It may be different, completely different in Japan. So
yeah, it could be. So yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna try these things. I'm sure there'll be stuff I'll love. You know, I mean, I haven't yet tried what's that chicken, the what do they call it? Karacha?
it's like it's garage.
Garage.
It's like garage with a K.
Because that's supposed to be really good. So yeah, I'm just getting myself sort of acclimatized to the idea of eating their food. I mean, I'm not that picky an eater, and usually textures don't bother me, but I'm finding this for some stuff is kind of bothering me, the texture. I don't know. Adam says, I keep telling my husband her needs to be known as the angry quilter. He says it's his construction process, swearing and cursing. Okay, well, yeah, it is a process. Chopsticks, Zaza said, are in the sewing room, not the culinary drawer. Yeah, true. They have so many uses for chopsticks. Yeah. But anyways, we tried it, and maybe you should look up recipes for Japanese curry and see what's missing, and if there is something missing, like a spice or something.
I don't know.
Because that's what it tasted to me like. It didn't.
It tasted to me like the curry you would get in England on chips or something.
Did we ever have curry on chips?
No, I did once a long time ago. But
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I don't know.
I have a package of curry sauce for Dutch chips that probably make it. I bet you it's the same stuff.
Maybe it is. Well, we'll have to see about that. But we continue to explore. Okay, so we're going to, speaking of exploring for food delights, we're not sure what my sister's serving tonight. My sister doesn't like ham. So we know it won't be ham. It could be lamb, because she does like lamb. And actually, Walter's not a fan. I like
I
the
don't
lamb
mind
too.
it. Actually, the stuff that she gets isn't too bad.
It's
Usually, I
not
don't. I
lamby.
don't like it when it's really lamby.
Well, no. But a lot of lamb we get anymore and here, like back in the when we were kids, the only lamb we could get in Canada was mutton, basically, and it was very, very muttonish. Now the lamb that's available to us here and that is not is very mild in its flavor and that. So, and depending on how you cook it, my sister has some recipe where she does some kind of marinade or something to it and then puts it out. I always find it kind of nice. I like it. But Walter doesn't as much.
I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind it. I'll eat it. But
Yeah.
I like the lamb that you got at One Eye Jack's for the
Yes,
souvlaki.
their souvlaki lamb is good. This is a place we go usually on Wednesday nights for dinner after a full day of sewing on Sewing with Stephen, kind of a thing. Zaza says Chinese curry sauce.
Well, it is almost like Chinese curry sauce, but it's actually a little it tastes a little different.
Laurel says she doesn't remember eating a curry when she was in Japan. From what she can remember, the food was pretty good. So, well, we haven't tried everything.
They have all these cocoa curry places all over the place in Japan. In fact, I looked up where the nearest one was to our hotel, and it's right across the road.
And new person, Ms. Joy's one. Hello, kings and family in the chat. I hope you're having a blessed day. Happy Resurrection Sunday. Thank you for writing me, Mr. Stephen. Oh, well, you're welcome. I didn't know I specifically invited you, but I invite everybody. So, but yes, glad you're here. Nice of you to come. Okay, so yeah, we'll see. And of course, there's always the sushi. And I've had a few people tell me, what kind of sushi I should get and all that kind of stuff because I don't like fish. But when we're there, when we're in Japan, I am going to try sushi because I'm in Japan.
We're on a food tour.
That has
includes sushi on it.
So, and who knows? Maybe I will find I absolutely love it and didn't know this is why I've been missing out my whole life. I doubt it, but it might happen. Stranger things, So speaking of stranger things, meanwhile in Canada, so we're having a little economic downturn. No, how could that possibly be? Now, who do you think might be affecting us that way? Sounds like asshole. Oh, that would be Trump. Yeah. Yeah. Global News said Canada's 2026 GDP outlook was slashed by 20% due to Middle East war uncertainties, lowering growth estimates to 1.2%. Well, that's not good, but we're not the only place being affected by this. I think the world is. So, yeah. Now, China trade, though, things are happening with that. Our finance minister was in Beijing, and he's discussing boosting financial trade with China, focusing on economic diversification. Yeah, there's some problems right now in our country with the whole thing. There are those who think, yes, by all means, let's go for it. Then we've got some other elements that say, well, the Chinese are just trying to infiltrate our system. They're influencing our elections and they're spying on us with their electronic devices. Paranoid. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. I don't think they're really influencing our elections, and I don't really think they're spying on us because what the hell would they spy on us about?
Our MOVA has a camera in it.
Well,
and your bamboos have a camera in it.
Oh God. Well, that's come up about the 3D printers because there's some states in the United States that are trying to pass laws that say that you cannot, as a consumer, alter the software in because there's open source software and things, because they're afraid that you'll get into something that will allow you to take control of other people's printers and spy on them. Yeah, I don't think so, but whatever. So everything, okay, you think about it, all the electronic devices we have in this house that have cameras on, this room alone has cameras everywhere and throughout the house. all of our appliances have all kinds of computer technology. You know, I swear, Lucy talks to the other ones. When she's pissed off with me, she'll make the other ones all gang up on me too. So, you know, and then there's Alexa. Let's not forget about Alexa or Siri, all of those ones. I think we can be too paranoid about it. And what's going to change? We need them. We've become dependent upon that technology. So, I mean, China, I don't know about that. I think that's a whole American propaganda, i.e. Trump. When I say American propaganda, you know, he doesn't trust the Chinese.
Why should we trust any other country at all? I mean,
Yeah.
not just China, any other country in the world if you buy a product from them.
Well, yeah.
Including America.
Do they make anything? I don't know. Yeah, we've got some by-elections coming up, which could solidify the government that's in power right now, give them a majority, because they're very close. They only need a couple of seats and they'll have a majority. So everybody's watching that, and it's looking pretty much like it will happen. And I say, great, that's wonderful. It's pissing off the conservatives. And in our country, when we say the conservatives, we're talking big C conservatives. It's not you know, little c conservatives. It's a political party. They're the main opposition actually right now in that. So yeah, time will tell how this works. Alberta apparently, meanwhile in Alberta, they're putting together a legislature laws that are going to restrict children's access to sexually explicit content in public libraries. I don't know about you, but I've never thought like, oh, a library is a really great great source of porn. Like, no. And the books that they're quoting are ones like The Handmaid's Tale, 1984.
I didn't know it had pictures.
What? It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, libraries they have areas in the library that they don't allow children to go in already, you know, because, and usually they are anatomy books or something like that.
Well, Curious George can't be more curious.
I guess not. Can only be curious about monkey things. But, you know, but who knows? That's a form of censorship. No, but in Alberta, yeah, they probably will. Toronto has threats. Speaking of Chinese, there is a big Chinese show on. It comes every year. It's Chinese dancers. It's called Shenyun.
Yeah.
And it's very colorful and all this kind of stuff. Lots of acrobatics in it, fancy dancing and all this kind of stuff. Well, now they've canceled it because of unfounded bomb threats. It's in Canada. They're dancers. Oh, what? They're spying on you from the stage? Whatever. I mean, people are getting just crazy, you know, and the ones that are this way are the ones who think that our auto industry is going to be taken over by Chinese electric vehicles if they come here, and they're all going to lose their jobs and everything like that. No. Those plants come here and build cars. They need people to work here. They're not importing Chinese workers to our country. They're using the workers that we have here. But people are nuts. And of course, speaking of protests, we have something going on out in Nova Scotia. The highways were blocked by protesters over cannabis crackdown. Well, here in Ontario, I'm not sure how it is out in Nova Scotia, but before cannabis was legal, you could go and get your weed at a reservation, because the reservation, it wasn't against the law for them to sell it.
Indian reservation.
Indian reservation, yeah. Native People's Reservation, yeah. Yes. And that kind of thing. So, you know, and it was a source of income for them as well. So, yeah, there's going to be a protest on it.
So what are they protesting? The native...
Cannabis crackdown.
Oh.
I guess. So maybe because it's become legal across Canada, maybe now there's something in the law that says they can't, I don't know, it has to be a recognized store with a government, like here in Ontario, there has to be a store with a license and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, but people like to protest all the time. So let's see here. Why would anyone, Sasa, want to watch or listen to me? They'll just hear me cursing. I don't know. How can they watch you?
No, you're talking about the Chinese watching stuff.
Oh,
Like
okay.
spying
Oh,
on
I
us.
get it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't think Canada has that many deep, dark secrets that the Chinese will be interested in. Um, oh, John's off for his family dinner. Okay, have a good one, John. We'll see you later. Uh, Barb says, leave Curious George alone. Yeah, I never grew up with Curious George.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
That wasn't
We
something
used to
we
get
had.
Curious George at the library all the time.
Oh, yeah. No.
And Horton Hears a Hoot.
Oh, yeah. Well, Horton Hears a Who's a classic. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so that's what's been happening in our country. Notice I didn't mention Iran because, I mean,
I think we're done.
I think we're done with Iran, like, and the whole bit. Well, you know, Trump should be done with Iran too because he's not winning that battle anytime soon. So, yeah. Okay, so, but the one thing that's been in the news that we've all been mystified by or excited by is, of course, the flight to the moon and, you know, going around it and everything. It's been 50 years since we've been there. And I don't know, I do remember seeing it on television when, you know, they took the first steps on the moon and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's 1969, wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah, it was 1969. And we were all excited about that and everything. And then, I don't know, things have gone kind of downhill with space exploration. I mean, we've got the space station there, but they've sent probes to Mars and beyond and things like that. But they haven't done a heck of a lot with the moon. The moon was supposed to be something where they could colonize it, put things on to mine the minerals and all that. Well, they've kind of dragged their heels on that one. So, but let's think about it. It's exciting and everything. I'm glad that the astronauts didn't blow up, that we didn't have a repeat of the tragedies that we've had before and all that kind of stuff. Everything so far seems to be, there's been a few little glitches, but they seem to have been minor. And, you know, the toilet, it's not flushing. Well, you might not have, shouldn't have stuffed that stuff down there, you know, really. But, you know, so what? But there's a lot of money involved in this. And first of all, why do we want to go to the moon? The moon is not a planet. It's an orbital body. It's kind of like a big asteroid kind of thing, except it's better shaped. And that, I mean, I would think we should be setting our sights more to the planets because there's bound to be more resources on planets than there are on the moon.
Is it because the moon is close?
Yes, it is. It is the closest one on the journey there. So, but okay, so what are the benefits of colonizing the moon, or, you know, kind of a thing? Well, there's minerals. Okay, that's what they like to say. I think there's ulterior motives to be the first to colonize, to put, you know, moon base alpha up there. And I think it's, they'd call it security. I would call it threat to the rest of the world. Whoever gets on the moon first is going to have a good vantage point for, you know, shooting up other countries with missiles or rockets or things like that. Also, you get bragging rights. We're the first. We've done it. Nah. The moon belongs to us. It's all about territory. That kind of thing. I mean, if there's a show on Apple right now, it's in its second or third season we're watching, called For All Mankind. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's kind of an alternative version of history focusing on NASA. It says, you know, like Kennedy was never shot and different things didn't happen and other things did happen. So they have a colony on Mars, and it's not in the way distant future. It's pretty much even actually before now. It's the early 21st century kind of a thing when they're doing it. It's kind of an interesting premise about all of that. So, you know, is this what they're thinking about by going to the moon, that they can do something like that?
Adam So says, If they ever did go to the
Oh
moon.
yeah, they need to sort this planet out and stop spending money on. Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. Oh, hi Ruth. Hi Sherry. Um, that's what I was going to say. The billions of dollars that are spent on going to the moon, that could have gone to fighting world hunger, poverty, housing, medicine, so many things. Oh, they like to say, yes, but they're doing experiments that are really going to help advance medicine and all these things. Yeah, is it really? Well, I suppose if I got sick and I was on the moon, it might help me. I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it does get us excited, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, because we watch a lot of sci-fi movies and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. So yeah, the people get excited about that. But you're right, like the amount of money that gets spent on that and other things that take up a lot of money
Yeah.
that they could do a lot more with more beneficial stuff for the world.
Well, yeah, for the world, for the American society, since they're the ones that seem to be putting a lot of the money into it, for Canadian society. Now, we have given a lot of technology for the program. That's why they gave us a token astronaut from our people.
A lot of it has to do with Canada arm.
Yeah, the Canada.
And future Artemis missions are supposed to have a special arm on it.
Yeah.
Supplied by Canada.
So when it gets on the moon, it extends its arms and it goes, "Danger, Will Robinson! Danger, Will Robinson! Danger!" But yeah, so I don't know about that. There's also too much risk to human life. I mean, those 4 people are sitting on a giant bomb, like a huge bomb. And, you know, they talked on one show that I watched, they talked about how they handle that with their family because they have to prepare their family for the worst. And these people, several of them have small children, young children, you know, kind of a thing. You know, daddy or mommy are blasting off to the moon. You may never see them again. I mean, I think back to how horrible it must have been for the family of the ones on the space shuttle when it blew up, when on its way up.
Columbian?
That was the Columbian, I think so. Wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, my God, they're those kids, everybody traumatized for the rest of their lives, with that kind of a thing, and for what? For what? And that also brings up the whole question about the space shuttle. Why did they get rid of that? Why did they stop that program? I mean, that looked first of all, looked much more comfortable than what those 4 astronauts are in right now. They're all sitting on top of each other. No wonder the toilet's plugging up. Somebody's foot dropped into it when they flushed. I don't know. Oh, there goes my boot. Get my boot.
That reminds me of a time I was at my sister's place.
What, you drop your boot in her toilet?
This is a long time ago. You know, you used to have those toothpastes that were like the liquid toothpastes, right? You know?
Oh, yeah.
They used to have. And she had a bottle of it standing on there. I was visiting her, and she had a bottle of it standing on her counter, and I picked it up while I was peeing. Well, I was finished peeing. I was going to flush, and the cap popped off and landed in the toilet just as it was flushing.
There is nothing. There's 2.
And I went.
There are 2 things that incite fear and panic in me. When you 1, as the toilet is flushing and you drop something in and you know that's never coming back, and 2, when it starts to back up and you realize, oh my God, is this going to overflow? You stand there and you watch it and you go, please don't. Please don't. What am I going to do? It's getting closer. You jiggle the handle. Nothing's happening. What am I going to do now? Yeah.
And I didn't tell her because I flushed it a couple of times and it looks like it went. The next day, my mom says, oh, her husband was busy with the toilet because it can't having trouble flushing it. Then I
Oops.
I fessed up and I said, "What happened?"
Oops. Oops. Yeah. Well, imagine that on a space module. Like, want to talk about fear? Like when they flush it. Well, first of all, they had a picture of it specially designed. It's the first time they've ever had a like a flush toilet on a spacecraft. I guess before they just did it in their pants, or they did it in a bag
They
or
did it in
something.
a bag, and sometimes they missed, and
Oops.
it was floating around.
Is that a Hershey bar? Oh, yeah. Don't poke the poop.
You'd think they'd have a system. If they have to do it in a bag, they'd have a system where it would be a little bit more.
I don't know. But I mean, I'm just imagining they flush it or do whatever, and then it's not going down, and they're going, "Oh my God!" We're
Apparently, they
weightless.
have special vacuum bags for the pee,
Oh,
but I don't know what they do for poo. So
it's a whole different world up there, I guess. Denise says, "Hi, Denise. Giving medical care when we can
blow it in the
blow
wind.
it in the wind."
Okay.
Okay. Not sure what you mean by that, but maybe you're suggesting that, yeah, we could use the money for medical care instead of all
Yeah.
this. Yeah, Barb, an O. Henry bar. Denise says, we aren't even going to land on the moon this time. No, it's a little trip around the moon.
Yeah, sightseeing.
Hi, waving at the
We're
moon.
showing that we can do it.
Yeah, well, they're showing they can do it.
Yeah.
What, bragging rights, I guess.
Spend a lot of money just to fly around the moon.
Well, yeah,
maybe that's because they never landed it on the moon in the first place.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's the first time. Yeah, who knows? The old conspiracy theater that they used a soundstage for the whole thing. Sandra's here. Hi, Sandra. Layla says, my cat jumped onto the toilet frequently when he was little. He was always so surprised when the lid was up and he'd go right in there. Yeah, and then I have seen that you can train a cat to go to the bathroom using a toilet. So, yeah, smart little.
I wonder how many times they miss. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sandra says, good afternoon all. Happy Sunday and happy Easter. Sorry, so late, but happy to be here. I like floating poop and pee stories. Well, you're in the right place. Tamella's here. Hello, Tamela. Ruth's here too. Hi, Ruth. Have you guys been hanging out with middle school kids? Love to talk about poop. You said poop.
Actually, there's a guy I used to work with. That's all he talked about.
Was what? Poop?
Was poop.
Yeah.
His outhouse. He was fantasizing about outhouses. In fact, he had an outhouse calendar on as well. Somebody gave it to him.
So then it also comes up to, do we have the technology to really make it all worthwhile? Let's look at it this way. You saw the spacecraft go up. They're sitting on, I don't know how many tons of fuel, liquid and solid fuel, and they're basically being shot out of a very large cannon to go up there in the whole bit. And it takes like so much, I don't know the science behind it, but there's so much force to get out of Earth's gravity, and so you can orbit the Earth and then slingshot somehow to orbit around the moon and all this kind of stuff. How's that going to fare in taking us to Mars or to other planets or even getting out of our solar system? We're nowhere near that yet. This is not Star Trek. But you know, Star Trek, if you've seen the movies, if you're a Trekkie, first contact was when, with the Vulcans, was when, what's his name, Zephyr Jr. or somebody or other, had invented the first warp drive. Now, they make up these names and things, so nobody knows what a warp drive is. But, you know, the ability to be able to go almost at the speed, if not faster than the speed of light. So that's the only way to get to other planets with that. And that's when, if there's any life out there, they decided, you know, the Vulcans figure, okay, you guys are becoming advanced. Now we can talk, kind of a deal. Well, we're not nowhere near that. But they're going to have to give that up. I mean, I don't know. Are they thinking about this? The space agencies are depending on chemical fuel like the rest of the world depends upon oil. And we know how that's turning out right now, don't we? Someone's got to invent something that can have the power to propel us out of the gravitational pull to go anywhere. Otherwise, we're just, sputtering along in a Model T for that. I mean, what is it? It takes 9 months to get to Mars right now. Well, that's a hell of a trip.
And probably a little capsule.
Yeah. I mean, the space shuttles look kind of luxurious in comparison.
Well, that's not true. Their cabin's not very big because it's all cargo.
Oh, yeah, I guess. What, you mean on the one now?
No, well, no, the one now. No, if you look at the big space shuttle,
Yeah.
it's big, but the whole bulk of it is
Well,
is
yeah,
cargo.
doors opened up and everything like
Yeah.
that. The arm was in there, whatnot. But I meant, if you look when they went up, though, their seating, if you compare it to the seating they've got, they're sitting on top of each other
Yeah.
in there, like in
That's
tandem.
like the old style capsule that they used to send in orbit around the Earth.
I mean, no good for somebody like me who's claustrophobic. No, that kind of thing. Adam says, it's such a crock of, I don't believe they are up there. Half the components of the rockets look like turkey trays. Well,
It could be fake in this
who
one.
knows? Yeah, I don't believe that it's fake myself, but there are some good conspiracy theories out there that do sound kind of viable. Pauline says, gee, and that's where the fuel is going. The price is expensive at the moment. Yeah, well, they don't use oil for this, but they use hydrogen and helium and all kinds of fun things.
It's liquid hydrogen or whatever.
They had a problem with the helium the other day. They had a little leak with that. They were all talking funny for half an hour. Oh God.
Yeah, I was watching something interesting the other day that actually jet fuel is actually a form of kerosene.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's not. They don't use gas.
Okay.
It's a type of kerosene.
Is there somebody at our door?
Could be. I got a package.
Oh, you got a package. My God, you and Amazon these last few days.
Yeah, well, I didn't order for a long time, and then
you're making up for it now.
A couple of things I wanted,
and I don't know what they are because you never tell me. You go away.
I told you I had the what is that? The USB charger thing and a USB charger.
Whatever. With that, so yeah. So I guess I think this is another American show. It's a show of both power and superiority. Look what we can do. We're doing this. Meanwhile, we have people on the streets that are starving. We have people who can't afford health care. We have only the rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer. We have all kinds of problems and this kind of stuff. And when I say we, I mean you. The Americans out there.
That's not just that. There's that sort of stuff's happening all over the world too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. And everything. And the public or private enterprises are.
Oh yeah, and so he said, well, think of all the pollution.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they never mentioned that. What is coming off? You see that all that plume of
mind
smoke.
You, it's hydrogen and oxygen, so that doesn't really produce much.
So water and air.
Yeah.
But still, there must be something. Plus, they don't really say, but do they?
Well, it does take a lot of power to produce hydrogen. So
okay, so there's another waste of natural resources, and all that kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, it's exciting to watch. There is a sense of hope when you see something like this. You go, like, if we can do this, maybe there's hope we'll find solutions to other problems in the world. But looking at past experiences, that never seems to happen, does it? Although we do get some really interesting food from the space program. I mean, let's think about Tang.
Tang. Can you still buy that?
I don't know. It's god awful.
I think it's called Sunny D now.
And maybe. And then there was, I don't know if anybody remembers these, space food sticks. Back in the 60s, on what the astronauts ate. There's this, basically looked like a very thin dog turd in a wrapper that you pulled out. Oh, there's poop again. On it. And I got some once. I had them as a kid. I think I bugged my mother or my grandmother to get these things. And they were sort of semi-chewy and a little bit soft. And I don't remember, they didn't taste like anything. I don't know. But anyways, who knows? Barb says, look at the TSA, not getting paid for 1 month. Ridiculous. Yes. But they have money to use on this. Denise says, you see how they are making our knowledgeable military men and women resign, so we have to take the word of people who just reported the news for most of their adult life. Yeah, all the propaganda. Adam says, dog meat sticks. Yeah, that's what they were. Freeze-dried ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had freeze-dried ice cream, but, you know, I've had fried ice cream, though, in a Mexican restaurant. It's delicious, and I don't know how they do it. But anyway, so I don't know. I mean, everybody's so excited. I hope nothing bad happens for the sake of the 4 people who are on this, you know, because that would be terrible for them, terrible for their families, the whole bit. So I hope they land back, and when they do and everything is successful, well, Trump will somehow get his name on this. You know that, because he puts his name on everything. I'm surprised before it went up that he didn't have it already on the side of it. Trump, NASA. Trump's NASA, or something like that with it all. Adam says, freeze-dried ice cream sounds dusty. Just add water. Yeah, to it. There goes the poop again. Yep. Come to the live. It's a poopy show. Yeah, we get into all kinds of shit. I can go on, but we're not going to. In fact, what we're going to do is say goodbye, because we have a dinner to go to, and I'm sure many of you probably have something the same. Got to get out there and eat that bunny and everything. So, yeah, if you haven't registered and you're still thinking about it, there are still spots available for the retreat, but they are filling up fast. So don't sit on the fence. Make a commitment one way or the other. With that, tune in to next week's programs. We have lots of things there. And next week, we'll be back on at our regular time, 4, not 3, but 4 p.m. Eastern. So I hope everybody has a great week. I hope I come back from the dentist tomorrow with all my teeth intact and my sanity as well. And we'll see you later. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye.